What's up, guys? It's your boy Dalton here from TCG Buzz, bringing you version 2 of my Black Dragon deck. Smoky Dragons, y'all hate the name. It's okay. I'm feeling this deck is getting closer and closer to perfection, so I flipped over the Dragon Sleeve, smoked, because it's almost ready to be competitively amazing. You probably already saw the matchup between me and Jacob, where I kind of gowed him, but if you haven't, go check that out, man. Why are you here? You gotta check that out first and then go to the deck profiles. Come on. So I changed my buddy from the last time. My buddy used to be Gaito, now it is Abygale SD. Probably one of the better Abygales out there. Everyone has their own opinion, but Abygale SD is probably the best Abygale in the game right now. Let's get right into that deck profile, all right? Start off with my size 3 impact monster, Abygale Last Death Violence. Run it at 3 copies because I don't need it much else. I feel like I get it enough at the right times, at the right moments. 4 gauge, pop as many Black Dragons I'd like on my field. When he enters, if there's 10 or more in your opponent's drop zone, nullify all abilities of cards on their field and destroy them all. And then if there's 20 or more, he gains triple attack. And with this deck, it's actually not that hard, surprisingly. I wasn't going for that type of build, but I managed to do it without even trying. Next, we're going down to size 2s. Only one size 3. The same with my size 2s. I run 3 voids. Kind of self-explanatory. When a monster on my opponent's field is destroyed, deal damage equal to their size. Great Omnilord card. Probably. It doesn't need to be at 4. I love it at 3. I get into it enough, and I kind of realize I don't play him as much anymore, so I might change him out, but I like having that presence of throwing Void out there with Gaito, and then they're all like, well, either I allow him to gain gauge and mill me cards and burn me, or I have to kill something right now, and puts a lot of pressure on them. A lot of pressure. Speaking of Gaito, I run 4 of Gaito. Gaito's amazing. He's the main gauge Excel in the deck. He has a life, so he kind of works with the rest of the cards that are gauge heavy. I am kind of thinking about dropping him down to 3, but right now I'm going to keep coasting at 4, see how it gels out with everything else. But right now, he's working out fine. Next, for mainly my Spectral Strike monster, Jinxed Landfall Curse Count. Arguably probably the best, at least tech-in one of in Black Dragon decks, just because, yes, his Spectral Strike normally is 1, but once you have 4 more different Black Dragons in your own drop zone, it's 4. And that's going to be fairly easy, especially with this deck. So you're basically hitting it off every time, and your opponent wants to nullify his attacks. Great pressure card. Same thing with having him and Void out there. Going after, say, a size 3 with very low defense. Pop it, probably go for 4, and then have an additional 3, and they have to reduce one or the other. It's a lot of choices for them. Continue on with these ones. I run 2 Black Blast Death Napalm. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but it doesn't matter right now. Mainly for its skill. When it's destroyed, pay gauge in your opponent mill's top 5. I love it. It's a great card. I say it's a staple at 2 for mill Black Dragons at least. Great card. Gets you into a lot of things faster. Helps me get into my buddy's first skill a lot faster so I can start drawing right away. I don't feel like bumping it up because I don't want to see it too often. I love it at 2. But you always want to see it opening hand, especially if you go first, so you can start triggering everything else's effects afterwards. Great card to open up with. Next, I run 1 SP foiling because I love my SPs, but only 1 copy of each SP. Of Death Glaze Dragon. I used to run Spine Chiller in this spot, but I kind of realized the smart move to do was kind of upgrade into Death Glaze just because he at least has 1 crit instead of having Spine Chiller out there. Say if I open it and he's my only monster, well, I'm not going to call him because he has no monsters and he's not very effective. And then if I do get him out there and they have a bunch of 4000D I won't get over anything, so he's basically a dead monster on my field. I felt this was better just because he had higher power, and I can get over things a lot easier. Next, 1 Black Superior Strength. The only Shadow Dive in the deck for monster-wise. I love him. Basically, once there's 4 cards in your opponent's drop zone, again, why this card's so amazing for the deck. Basically gets plus 3,000 power and plus 1 crit. So basically, it's a size 1 with 3 crit. It's amazing. I love it. It's a key finisher, too. Kind of funny. Next, the buddy of the deck. Run 4 of Abygale SD, mainly for draw power, and then getting off the additional at 15 cards in your opponent's drop. Popping a monster on the field is also nice, but I really use it for the draw. That wraps up the monster lineup, so I'm going to switch on over to my items for y'all. Start off my items. I run 2 Darkness Dragon Force. Really nice, especially late game, especially once they finally get you down to that 4 to 3 life point range. You start gaining life no matter what. Great card to have. I don't go into it too often just because I don't really need it, but I just have it in the deck for an option for a strong hitting, help get over some walls and so forth. Now the main item that I go into, Buddyfight. One of the best items in Darkness Dragon World, mainly because you can draw off of it every time it deals damage. And it's that weird pressure card that your opponent's not normally going to nullify for like any other world, but it's the fact that you get to draw off it that they're going to try to nullify it so that you can't draw off of it. I love it. I want to bump it up to 3 eventually, but I only have the 2 right now. To wrap up the items, I run 2 Blade of Ladaments, mainly for its Spectral Strike aspect. It used to be a main focus of this deck back in its premature days. Now it's not the main focus. It's all about drawing right now. But it's a great backup, especially if I imagine to get Jinxed Landfall, this, and Void out on the field. Great. Burn damage time. Opponent has no fun with that. Great item lineup, I think. I don't think I'd really change up too much besides adding another copy of this and probably dropping that down to 1. Otherwise, I think this is a perfect lineup for my items. Moving over to spells. I run 4 Gate of Darkness Dragon, key set spell card in this deck. You would not run this deck without this card. You need this card in order to survive. It brings back your size 1s and less from your drop zone during your opponent's main phase. You need this card to make this deck excel even better. 4 off staple. I'm thinking about tampering with it, but no, you can't tamper with that. It's just too good. Just too good. Next, I run 4 Black Cloth Blade. Basically, my main nullifier that I like using. Love using it because it mills my opponent 1 card. And kind of self-explanatory. I just love it. I feel it's a 4 of in this deck. You guys might have your own variations, but this is what I like to use. Next, I run 4 Black Dragon Shields because a lot of cards are coming out with they can't be nullified when they're attacking alone, so reducing their damage is becoming more and more important in Buddyfight right now. That's why this is at 4. Great card, great shield, even though it doesn't nullify. Reducing, it's amazing. Next, I run 3 Devil Stigmas, just mainly to use on Napalm, maybe some other cards if I add them in, but I probably won't. Great card, Gauge Excel, life gain. Can't use it in final phase for obvious reasons, but I love it. It's amazing. Next, I run 3 Cage of Nightmares. Cage of Nightmares, when a Black Dragon enters your field, your opponent mills the top card of their deck. Second skill, when it's put from your field to your drop zone, put a Black Dragon monster from your drop zone into your hand. So basically, I can recycle my Void and my Impact Abygale, no problem. I have Gate of Darkness Dragon to recycle everything else. This is what I use to get everything else going, but otherwise, this milling aspect is very strong in this deck. Very strong. Next, I run 2 enemy walls, mainly for its milling purpose. It's a nice bonus to nullify the attack and gain a gauge off of it, but mainly milling the 2 is what I really look forward to. It's an added bonus to get that nullify. But that's what I run. And to wrap up my spells, I run 2 benefits. Not only does it benefit the deck, no pun intended, but it helps with life gain. That was the most important reason why I added it in. I could be using Noble Sacrifice to really synergize with a Palm, but I felt like using Benefit was way more beneficial to me. Again, no pun intended. You know, especially if my opponent wants to target my Void and they have their own Void out. I'm like, no, I'm going to place Intimate Drop Zone so it's not technically being destroyed, and I will gain 2 life and gain a gauge. I love it. I feel like this, because I'm not too big in generic cards and using them. I don't know why, but ever since this cards came out, it's been like my go-to card to add into a deck. Like, I try to make room for it. Obviously, I won't put it in every deck, but very good card, I feel. Well, that wraps up this deck profile for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions on why I put it in, please leave a comment. If you have any suggestions, please let me know in the description below. Comment section below. Deck list will be in the description if you don't want to hear my voice, even though it's probably too late now. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications hit the little bell to get the notifications so you can keep getting an update on these deck profiles. But above all else, y'all, stay classy. We want to thank our sponsor, Frost Giants Games, for making this show possible. Frost Giants Games is Wisconsin's game store of choice for board games, Magic the Gathering, and other card games. Check them out at www.frostgiantgames.com.